No, I'm probably not gonna move that around at all. So.
As long as people can hear, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
I was gonna try to get the external mic, but they're tutoring next door, and it's in a cabinet in there.
So between that and really good notes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take care of it.
Alright.
So how long have you guys been at Kirkwood?
I've been at Kirkwood for 7 years. 18 years.
Wow.
Alright.
So what led you to be on the KFA?
I'm on KSA.
You're on KSA, okay.
Yeah. Just the idea that maybe I could do something to help out with people that I work with.
Well, very similar. I'm on KFA, and very similar to Maria. I think there's a lot to be said for service leadership. This is my second time around as KFA president too, so I kind of thought, well, if you've done it once, you might as well see if you learned anything, and what you learned to try it and do things differently.
And before we get a whole lot further, I'm not sure. Was it explained to you why it is that we want to talk to you about your role?
I know you want to talk about the faculty contract, but that's all negotiation.
Mhm.
But that's all I know.
Okay, so basically, we're in Linkage's leadership in the next
New century.
Leadership Institute for a New Century.
That
Probably
that
not.
is the term.
Yeah.
But it's a leadership program that is available to faculty and staff within any of the 15 community colleges. You have to apply or be nominated to participate and approved by school leadership to be able to do this. And it's through ISU. And it's basically looking at how to farm internal talent within the community college system in Iowa to be able to help them promote through the ranks. But apparently their goal is that we all become community college presidents. That's not all the participants' goals.
Well, they're looking for one here next year.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure my name is not going to be on it.
I'm pretty sure my name's not on that list either.
Not really. But part of what we're supposed to do is we have assignments through the program to help us get a better view as to what community college life is like, and also specifically on our campuses. So one of our assignments was following an interview with your chief financial officer and an employee group representative, provide a report that shows changes to the budgeting and bargaining process of your institution. And since Kirkwood has KSA and KFA, we thought it would be wonderful if we could get both of you in here to get the different points of view that would come from both sides of that. Yesterday we had the interview with Jim Cho and got his point of view.
How did that go?
It went really well. He was very candid and open.
I'm sure you learned a lot.
We did.
So that was
Yeah.
very enjoyable. And so we're excited that so close to that, we get to sit down with the two of you and get your points of view on that whole process. So that's basically what we're doing. We have a list of questions that we will very vaguely follow. As Brandy warned you the other day, we're not shy. So as we get interested in different topics of what we're talking about, we'll veer wildly away from this, I'm sure.
Okay.
But those are copies of the questions just to help guide our conversation with you, so that we get really excited about new information and can get mired down into minutia. This way we can get what we need to get our assignment done. So we're really just excited to learn whatever it is we can.
Yeah.
That's very true.
I'm sorry, they don't like it when the door's open, because they have an open office up there.
Sure.
Uh,
They may not want to hear this,
Yeah.
the way their work.
So Catherine, you're the president. Maria, are you the president of KSA?
No, we actually, KSA does not have a president.
Okay.
Well, I'm part of the leadership council.
Okay.
So there are a number of us that handle the different areas of KSA, but we're all part of the leadership council.
How many members are on the council?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries, no worries. I
I think there are at least.
I'm looking at the organizational chart that y'all sent me in my head, and I think that's right,
About 10, yeah.
give or take. We had a couple of on there as in advisory capacities.
Right.
But they don't take advisory anymore. And my presidential title is a tad misleading. Kirkwood has, at any given, the faculty association has 3 presidents kind of in different stages of presidenting.
Okay.
So like I'm the president who handles all of the organization, gets the release time, takes the point on legislation, leads the meetings this year. Next year I will be what we call a past president, and I will be around in an advisory training role for the new president who jumps up to take my place, who is currently what we call a president-elect, who is sort of getting a taste of what this looks like from a sit and watch, participate in a limited capacity sort of way.
Is that unique to Kirkwood?
It is not unique to Kirkwood.
Okay.
So next year you'll be training essentially. or
Essentially,
mentoring,
that's right.
someone who will be coming up to the
Right,
ranks to be
right.
president.
Exactly.
Okay, excellent.
That's
But a
nice.
succession plan.
Yeah, that was a very good succession plan.
Right. You know, they used to do, I think, a president, vice president structure, and they're actually toying with the idea of going back to that in a couple of years. But this works out because it's basically, it is a 3-year commitment, but it's only really 1 intensive year.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
you know, this year is a very busy year. There's a reason they give me release time for it. But yeah, it works out pretty well. And I like the idea that we're training people
Mm-hmm.
and we're using experience to train people. That's also
Right.
good leadership.
Right.
Then does KSA have anything similar to that, or do you stagger when people are elected so that you're not all new here?
Actually, the leadership committee on KSA is kind of evolving. We are going through some changes. The individual who basically led it for many, many years has retired from it. So we're just kind of trying to find our footing as far as how we want to handle whose responsibilities and who does what. My actual title is at large, which means that should one of the other members of our leadership committee not be able to handle certain activity of some sort, that I can step in and take care of it. So I kind of float.
Okay. You do a very important job. You get to know what everybody's doing.
I do kind of have to follow what is going on with all the other individuals who are in charge of the specific different committees that we have.
And then in both of your roles, you get to participate in the budgeting process or the bargaining process. And not the task, correct?
Not so much for us. We do get to follow, and we go to we attend board meetings. And so any kind of budgeting information basically is learned through the board meetings that we go and sit through. Also, they are giving information from the administration, if anything needs to be related to the membership.
Mm-hmm.
So KFA has a bargaining appendage. We have a bargaining team. If you compare my position to, say, mixed position, the negotiations team would be Jim's position. And actually, when the contract is negotiated, the negotiations team, usually headed by a negotiations chair, sits down with the representatives of the college, generally headed by the chief financial officer, but there are other representatives from administration as well, often the president of academic affairs, for example, or the vice president of academic affairs. And those folks work together to give and take on a contract that works. My job is to be off to the side, listen, get input from the membership to give to the negotiations team. And then when the contract is finally finished, to be the person who puts the name on it. That said, I won't have to put my name on a contract this year because last year we negotiated a 3-year contract. So
Very smart.
well, we were lucky. Let's be honest. We'd like to pretend it was smart, but it was just luck. This is not the first time we've negotiated a multiple-year contract, but it has also been in the past that we've negotiated from year to year. Okay. As you might be aware from your talk with Jim, things might be changing given recent changes with state law. Then things might be changing in a different direction because there are currently 2 lawsuits challenging those changes. And then there's a set of midterm elections affect things too. But the negotiations between the faculty and the administration will continue. However, what will be within the scope of those negotiations will be greatly limited as required and then permissive depending on what the administration wants to do. And then generally, one way in which we work together is that what the faculty negotiates as a raise becomes the raise for the administration and staff. So it's kind of interesting in a way because the faculty steps forward and says, we want this, and we work with people who are our administrators, but at the same time, we're actually negotiating for their salary and staff salary because Kirkwood is a fairly fair place. Somebody gets a raise, we all get a raise.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any independent negotiation or any, because KSA doesn't have, and I might be wrong with this just because I really don't know, is KSA like an actual recognized union and KSA is more of a staff organization or they also, okay.
Yes.
KSA is more of just a staff organization. We are not actually a union.
And we are affiliated with ISEA, with the Iowa State Education Association and the National Education Association. Again, with recent changes in state budget, we will be up for what they call a recertification vote in 2018. And what that will mean is, will KFA remain with ISEA, NEA? Depends on what the majority of the faculty says. But at least through the spring 2019, we are a union represented organization.
Okay.
So, do you find that the bargaining process usually goes smoothly? Or is it, or have you had times when there's been more headbutting?
Because we are not a union, basically when it comes to wages and salaries or whatever, it's a matter of trying to, as well as working, as Catherine said, through KFA with their help, but also it's just a matter of petitioning and talking to HR and the administration as far as if wages, we feel wages need to be adjusted.
Didn't you guys do a big restructuring?
Well, actually, they just did do wage adjustments within this last year, because everyone received a big adjustment this past year. So
Was that a result of the Johnson County minimum wage?
they were going to do that, but then because of the judge in Texas, that all stopped.
Right.
So it was going to happen, but then it never did. So kind of got excited and then.
That's unfortunate. Nick told us that you guys are going to get that at the faculty meeting. Shame on him. All right, so
It had something to do with that judge in Texas. So he's the one that needs to be shamed.
indeed. So, of course, whenever two different people with two different views of what needs to happen at the college or should happen at the college talk to each other, there are going to be differences of opinion. And that's perhaps the most diplomatic way to put that. Sometimes, you know, we feel that the administration feels that they can't do what we want and they have this idea. Sometimes we feel like the administration should do what we want and we have this idea. And the process is a very compromised process. But it's what our Congress should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of that give and take, we find common ground. You know, there have been rare cases where we cannot find common ground and we go to a process called arbitration. Okay. And then, you know, a neutral arbitrator will decide for us. I remember that happening, I want to say 2 or 3 times since I've been here. But in general, I think Kirkwood is a very employee-friendly place. And in general, I think we find pretty good common ground. And so there is some spirited discussion, but I don't see it at all as hostile.
Does it, you know, we get the emails every once in a while of please send your ideas to Maria or Aaron or whoever. Does it frustrate you that you don't get more or that you get too many? Or I know when I was on the Williamsburg Education Association committee, we struggled with like new blood and old blood.
That classic question of base versus seniority.
Yeah.
Well, I think it gets a little, yeah, it does depend on the person's amount of experience and time as far as how they feel about certain issues. I've only been on KSA for a short time. I haven't been on as long as some of the other members on the leadership. So I don't know if maybe I'm speaking out from here, but to me it just seems like there are a lot of people who hesitate because they just don't feel like, I think they feel that things are fine as they are. And so they don't want to rock the boat. Then you have others who are ready to want to make improvements and make changes. Yeah, I don't know.
Most faculty are concerned about salary and benefits. And that's really what they want you to go after when you're doing negotiations. So, those are also the two issues that will benefit the most faculty. That said, there are often special interest factions among faculty, like there's a lab loading section in the contract now. And that came about largely because of teachers in math and vet tech and science who would have lab time, which they would not be recompensed for at a similar level of class time. So they worked out all the ratios for that. A few years ago, there was a question about coaching wages. Most people will prioritize the big two, but occasionally there's always something that comes up that's a very targeted set of faculty. Again, online, distance learning, all sorts of things like that, student overloading. And we will talk about those issues in the trying to be fair, trying to make sure that we're not just that we're giving faculty who have special concerns a turn at the negotiations table. The majority of the faculty might not care about because it doesn't affect all of them. What does that mean in terms of input? We get a lot of specialized input. We spend a lot of time educating our members on why we might be going to that for a particular issue at a particular time. They might not be able to see the clear relevance of it.
So with the KSA too, we have the different councils, like we have the communication council and the meet and confer. They have different tasks that they do. One of them basically is tasked with, so they have times when they will meet. So what we do is we'll send out an email to all the membership and say, if you have any concerns that are specifically related to these issues, if they're like HR concerned issues, that committee is the one that will bring things up to HR and talk about it and try to figure out how they can resolve whatever issues someone may have concerning, like employee type rules and things like that. We also have the other council that if it's like overall related to how things work within the college, they will address it sometimes directly to the president. Everybody's got different tasks.
So in approaching the responsibilities that you have to represent the staff or the faculty, are there specific schools of thought or strategies that you try to follow? Because you get to be in a fairly unique position where you're supposed to be representing a group and keeping them happy, but at the same time negotiating in a way that is going to best benefit the entire whole. So you get to see both the big picture, but then also the passion and the struggles of those that you're representing. So how do you try to balance all of that?
we've had meetings, the leadership committee has had meetings where we go there with an agenda of things that we plan to talk about, and we will get hung up sometimes on just one issue. Because even within the committee, not everybody may agree about the same thing. So it's really a matter of trying to come up with the best way to have general consensus on an issue, but we feel that it's going to be beneficial to the staff in general. Somebody may have different, and I think that's true with any kind of committee or organization. You just have to come up with what's going to be the best benefit or what is going to be the best resolution for everyone concerned, not just for a few people who have different ideas about how things should be done with. Interesting. I'm learning a lot.
Well, I'm sure.
We have a 14-person exec board. Okay. And like the leadership team in KSA, we meet, I think, twice a month. And in this way, I think it's very important to gather input from faculty reps, faculty themselves, and talk these issues through as kind of a hive mind. Because, you know, my initial feeling on an issue might not be the best for the faculty, but if we have the exec board kick around all the angles of it, we can generally get something that's both good for the college as a whole and faculty in particular. Now, if the faculty runs into a situation where their passion is paramount and they feel like they're rubbing up against something, we also have what we call a grievance committee, and actually more technically it's a grievance and conflict resolution committee. The contract has certain rules the faculty have laid out, and if there's a breach of the contract, that's briefable. You know, that's very union. We could say, no, you broke your word. But if they have just a problem with a dean or another faculty member, we can work with them, we can work with HR, try to help them through it. So there is room for the individual passion, and there's a place to go for that. And there is a judicious process that tries to work toward the common good. Now, interfacing with administration, one of the things that we do is we have a meeting with myself and the president-elect have a meeting with the vice president of academic affairs and Mick every month. So in that way, we get kind of a good idea of what the other side of the college is thinking and feeling. Like, for example, we know we're going through some budget stuff. We're hearing about that. We know we're going through some legal changes. We're hearing about that. We're hearing about how Kirkwood still wants to be a destination that attracts great faculty in spite of all of these concerns. So we have a pretty good idea of what the administration values. They have a pretty good idea of what we're evaluating because we have this meeting, we come together and we talk it through. So I guess key to all of this is constant communication with different emphases depending on the committee. And if you're, you know, earnestly, openly communicating, you should be able to reach solutions that are most advantageous to a number of people while at the same time valuing the community individual.
What's the most difficult thing that KFA has had to ask for?
How do you mean?
Like what salary or benefit would have been the hardest thing to negotiate?
Wow. Well, I gotta say that getting the lab lecture stuff in the contract itself was kind of a challenge, because some people think that labs are situations where teachers don't work hard. You know, we have really not had too much trouble with salary, with insurance, with leaves of absence. It's a very faculty-friendly college. But, you know, getting people to see kind of the lab experience in a different way was a multiple-year process.
Thank you for that. I work in a department that has a lot of labs,
Mm-hmm.
and it is much appreciated. On the board.
I know, and people didn't think so. You know, it's like, I'm married to a chem teacher. I remember too.
What challenges do you face when looking at the budget for the college or the budget for personnel, or do you just kind of stay out of it?
Well, I have to admit though that I think the recent events People do wonder if there will be cutbacks in their departments. We do wonder if what the governor is talking about, how it's going to affect all of our departments here at the school. So, I mean, there has been a little bit of talk, not a whole lot of worry because Mike is pretty good about reassuring people that we'll be okay. But you do still think about that stuff in the back of your mind.
So I know, although nothing is official yet at all, I know that we just suffered another budget cut. I have a fair idea about how far behind in budget revenue we're going to be for next year. But nothing official has been settled regarding what will happen with the budget, so I'm not going to speak out of turn until official announcements are made and a lot of variables are in play. I won't lie to you. It's been keeping me up a lot at night. There's the very large possibility that this isn't going to go well for the faculty, I think, on an individual level. I know the contract that we have is going to be in place and that contract is going to be honored. But in order to do that, there may have to be changes that allow that to happen. And none of us feel good about the potential of those changes. I know that, and I don't think this will come as a surprise to anybody, there will probably be a renewed effort in trying to suggest early retirement, which is a much more humane way to deal with our budget shortfalls. And I am hoping that that is a success. Like Maria says, Nick is very good at assuring people. But, you know, unfortunately, not even Mick Starcevich can pull a rabbit out of a hat in his state budget. So I have to admit, I'm concerned, and perhaps that's because I've seen a bit more behind the curtain than I feel comfortable with at this point. But we do that because, you know, we want our employees to know what's at stake, I think. And I'm sure that there will be a budget town hall, which explains it in great detail. And, you know, I don't think the college does anything without good reason in terms of budgeting.
I have a follow-up to that. Do you foresee, I mean, Jim basically said from his side of it, what you just said, is that there's going to be challenges. The school is planning what he said is that the school is basically planning for the worst, hoping for the best. That way, if there's areas that need something, then hopefully it's not going to be here, but we can plan, you know, the reality will be here, but we'll have a, you know,
right.
Basically.
Which is a smart strategy.
Mm-hmm. And that it is going to be more of a thing along the lines of early retirement, encouraging that for staff, the 90-day between rehires and things along those lines to help with some of those sorts of things. Do you think that part of that plan might include reorganizing any departments or anything along those lines? I know that before a lot of this happened, that was somewhat what happened with English Fine Arts, where there was a retirement at dean level, and instead of retiring to dean, they just kind of moved positions and people around. Do you see more of that
department, so
okay.
I know how that works. You know, maybe I don't think any of us see people who aren't working. I think everybody who you see working is very busy. So at Kirkwood, I think, you know, people are pressed up to the limit of what they can do fairly often, and we work fairly hard. And I don't think the college makes the kind of decision where they would eliminate a position lightly, because I know that the two people that were most affected in the English department by that decision probably work 150% now as opposed to 100% now, right? Mm-hmm. That said, all that said, not rehiring someone is a very cost-effective way to make a budget work in a time of budget challenge. So I don't know if there can be reorganization in areas where there isn't need, because I see incredible need almost anywhere I go to this college, right? I do know that in the past we have counted on the administration to make wise combining decisions they tend to favor making changes in programs that are lesser served, fewer students, where there isn't obvious need. They don't cut just by seniority, but rather try to take a look at the entirety of the situation. And I'm sort of grateful for that because that makes more sense than just whacking everybody at a certain level or deciding that, you know, because you have this much seniority or this much experience, you should retire. But, you know, it is a hard thing to do, to look across college and see where maybe reductions could be made or combinations could be made. It's I would say we probably are going to do that. I'm hoping we're going to do that in the wisest possible way. I don't think there's any good way to do that. I mean, if I could just look at somebody and say, we don't need you, you're hanging out. There just is.
Doesn't happen.
No, there isn't anybody like that, right?
I don't know. Because Kirkwood's so good to work for.
Yeah.
It's hard not to do 100% of your best self.
Sure.
And so thank you for helping get us there.
People who don't do 100% don't fit. And
Exactly.
they feel it, I think, as much as
Oh yeah.
everyone else.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think it just doesn't.
Well, they're the ones that are losing the most sleep.
I suppose so, right?
When I think about that, yeah, I think in terms of, because I handle some of the spending and budgeting in our department. What I see first off for like people in my department is tightening of the belt, especially this comes to all this. As far as the possibility of them trimming individuals out of the department. Even though everyone in our department has a very important role, I think when it comes down to budget cuts and trimming down costs and things like that, they will definitely go through the department to see if there's someone whose role is not going to adversely be affecting the department if they are no longer there. And so we do think about that. I work in the International Programs Office, and we think about that. Because it's like some people may not consider what we do as important as a different area of the college.
Sure.
So,
And that's a very important issue that you bring up because, you know, what do we prioritize? That also becomes a factor, right?
yeah.
Like, okay, we are the People's College. I'm the ELA coordinator. Our immigrant population, refugee population is huge. The state just gave us a 25% cut in ELL programs, which means chances are good our population will swell a bit more because people will be able to take free classes if they want to learn English. They'll have to do that or go out to maybe Catherine McCauley or some of the other services. It just depends on what their goals are. At the same time, you know, we have a very unwelcoming international immigrant picture, so will that affect our numbers? The point is, though, that we need to serve that population, and as a community, we know we do. As opposed to maybe the recently defunct equestrian program, which had maybe 3 instructors, a few students. It wasn't really a big contributor to the community. You know, it was probably a very important program, but the priority academically was just not there. So then you start taking a look at what the college does, what kinds of departments. We want all of them, but which ones do they decide that, you know, and that's I think the killer thing. I think every single one of these things we do is awesome and wonderful. But, you know, from high school teaching, like when the budgets get tough, what you can.
Teachers.
Yeah, and in particular areas, like I guess Cedar Rapids cut their librarians last year,
Well, they cut their Spanish program too. Their
Right.
elementary Spanish program.
right?
So
And-
the languages now instead of the fine arts.
Well, they've
Oh, I'm
already
sure it's both.
they've already killed all the fine arts.
Yeah.
So now it's languages.
So, you know,
They had elementary Spanish.
Yeah.
Elementary Spanish.
so there are interesting priorities. Like as a faculty person, could I say that the KSA Institute and the institutional effectiveness places are important? Oh yes. We have to have in-house service training for our faculty so they can teach at community college. Would I rather see that go than academic classes that serve our students? Oh, yes.
Probably.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I would hate to see anything go, and I believe they do important work, but that's a nicety. And if it comes down to having math classes to serve our community versus having faculty training that we could get at ISU, I guess I just assume, you know, I can see where my priority could go. And the trick is now there are these people who have to make these decisions for the entire college when it comes down to it. Maybe they don't have to trim an entire department, but they have to trim pieces of that.
I think unfortunately too, though, another thing that factors into the equation there is also they look at the revenue generating
Oh, yeah.
areas.
Oh, yeah.
So if the area that you're in is not really a big revenue generator, then they're probably gonna come after you too.
Right.
Well, and I work here in high school completion. So I pay for the head child of the college because we don't make money for the college. You know, we are 100% grant funded.
But you must exist.
But we have to exist, like we are required to exist by Iowa code.
But you're also grant funded.
Right.
And so
So,
you took a whack, but you didn't take the whack from the same place. You didn't take the money from the other fund where they're budgeting. Your own budget will shrink because you took a hit on your own budget. You know, like the hotel cash generator, that probably is going to be okay. A lot of the industrial tech programs that are kind of hot and new, they're probably going to be okay. Bricklaying got the axe, it's not hot and new. My students are generating a lot of money for the college. You're probably okay. But is it okay to let an English teacher go? That could happen. You know, not replacing an English teacher or letting one go, having the classes filled in by adjunct. You know, that could happen. It's just hard to say. It's really, I don't envy them this position. I would hate it. Trying to choose what's important and what's not important, and what makes money and what doesn't, and what has potential to make money and what just improves quality of life. And
well, like you said, you're not really saying what's important and what's not important. You're saying they're all important.
yeah,
What do we cut?
exactly.
They're all important, and as
Exactly.
I've said, unfortunately, I think the amount of money that a certain area brings into the college
Sure.
is gonna be considered first.
It is a way to work with your budget without shrinking your budget.
Right. Yeah. If you're saying we need to make a change because of budget, that would appear to cut a high revenue generating department would appear to be a whole nose and face thing.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So you guys sure you want to work with budgets in the future? Look at all the fun you're going to have, right? I don't even work with the budget and I feel like,
Do you feel that the decisions the college has made, I mean, even some of these stuff like getting rid of equestrian and bricklaying and some of these other programs, do you feel that they have been adequately data-driven decisions, or even if they aren't decisions people like, that they at least have the logic and data to back up the decision made?
Good question.
I believe so. I mean, I haven't seen specific numbers.
I would venture to guess, like we're talking about, it really has a lot to do with the numbers that they see, the involvement, the amount of money that is generated. Those things are the things that they factor in. I'm guessing, because I'm not involved with it,
Right.
but that's what I would believe it has led them to make those decisions.
So you'd say, yeah, you think they're probably making reasonable.
Right.
You know, if you want to be logical about it, unless you have somebody in there who's just being emotional about it and saying, well, I don't like this area, so let's get rid of that. I don't think that's how it can work. They
Sure.
have to be logical, they have to make, I would hope, informed decisions about, you know, where they're gonna cut things.
Well, they have to, do you find that you have community members that are, you know, involved or talking to you about things like the budget, or like if they did cut the equestrian, you know, like when they cut the equestrian program, did you have anybody that was like, no, they can't do that,
Or
Do you mean the community Cedar Rapids or the Kirkwood community?
yeah, more of like the outlying community.
I haven't had much experience with that.
Yeah, I've never had anybody from the community talk to me about issues here at Kirkwood. But I imagine individuals who are, for example, the equestrian program, I'm sure there were individuals who like to show horses and stuff who were really upset or sad about the program being cut. It's no longer, here. I don't get involved in those kind of things. I
can think of an example where the community did in fact affect an increase. In Iowa City, a bunch of Sudanese immigrants got together, a petition, showed the former dean down there, which has been replaced, that there were plenty of students that could support more ELA classes. At the dean's bequest, he said, bring me in a petition, and they actually did, and they increased their levels off in Iowa City from 1 to 3. And now the new dean has all levels operating in Iowa City. So, I mean, there is that kind of influence, so I can imagine that, if the community sees a need, then they're not shy about approaching Kirkwood. I've just never heard of anyone coming in and saying, why did you cut X? Haven't heard any of that pushback.
And it seems like that whenever things have been cut, it's been very intentionally laid out, very intentionally, like, this is what we're doing, this is the number of students we have, this is like the cost that it would take to run this program, and we just can't justify a program that has 3 full-time instructors for an income of
Right.
$1,500.
Well, many of the programs at Kirkwood are cash losers.
Sure.
Right? A lot of our higher tech programs actually cost money per student and are supported from other parts of the budget where they maybe use more adjuncts or just have a circuit of cash. So unlike you lovely folks out here at ABE, we don't get to keep the budgets in departments. We spread it all out, and some departments would, because of the cost of equipment, lose money. So I don't know if it's only a decision based on money. In some ways, it might also be kind of a decision based on what is expected or what a community might be like our WIND program, for example. We want a WIND program. We want to draw students in. Is that an expensive program? Yeah. Should we have it? Yeah. Should some other programs support that? Question.
Sure. So it's like the welding versus English.
Precisely.
Right? Welding, you've got gas and consumables and steel and equipment and all these things. And English,
you got a book.
You need lights, you need a table, a boat, instructor.
Ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot like that.
And so, I mean, historically, arts and sciences is often foot the bill for CTE.
And what's interesting about that is I understand that even though the college has had its periods of flux and wane in terms of growth, there has been a steady decrease in the liberal arts side of the college.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the part of the college that supports all these other efforts,
the generator.
That's another problem. Yeah.
And for example, like I'm at the Jones Regional Center in Monticello, and really, so primarily what we're doing is college credit in high school.
Yeah.
But that building, really the dream and the design of that building is career exploration in the CTE side, particularly. I mean, that's sort of our main goal.
Well, that's the thing high schools don't do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the gap we're trying to fill. But of course, our student population is about half and half.
Yeah.
Arts and sciences and CTE, and we would hate to be forced to cut CTE when that's our mission.
Right. But on the other hand, you can't afford CTE unless you have the other students. And our high school completion program, some people suggest that might be one of the reasons why our liberal arts side is diminishing, because many students are finishing their credits earlier under the expense of their high school. It's a thought. It's probably not the sole factor, but it's probably a contributor.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, another piece of the budget is complicated.
Sure.
So when looking at all of this, you talked that your two groups work together a lot, and it sounds like you get to meet once a month with academic affairs and administration that way. Are there other departments that you work closely with in regards to representing the Kirkwood body, or specifically working with any budget?
I have a really good friend who's an adjunct. So I
We work, KSA does work very closely with the Human Resources Department. A lot of the concerns that our membership have are pretty much directly related to the person. And they're very good. They're very good about working with us. When we have concerns that need to be addressed by them, they're very good about researching it and looking into the issue and trying to get us an answer at least. If they can't change something that we're hoping can be changed, at least they give us a good reason why not. So.
Have you been able to work pretty easily with our new VP of HR, or you not been around long enough?
He hasn't been around that long, but I'm sure he will be. He's a very nice guy. We've met him, very nice gentleman, so I don't see.
We are really impressed. We've had him in a couple of meetings. And
Yeah.
he looks like a good fellow. Wonderful.
That is good news.
That's good news.
And I've met his wife, and I don't like my yet.
I haven't met him yet. That's all.
So in general, the working relationship with HR, the working relationship with academic affairs, the working relationship with the adjunct faculty is good, or
You know, it is.
I believe it is too. Yeah. I don't really, in my time on this committee, I haven't really picked up on any kind of dissatisfaction with the way that we're able to bring up issues and how they're resolved or not resolved or whatever. It seems like it's pretty good working relationship.
One of the things that Nick said when he came to the faculty council meeting, which is not a KFA meeting for a change, the entire faculty can come and speak, is he said, well, I don't know, really that we need a contract. And of course we need a contract because, we all have those different worldviews we talked about and we're trying to compromise. But what I took away from that was the idea that Kirkwood tries to be a very employee-friendly place. That Kirkwood really wants its employees to be happy here and stay here and work out. And so, I've really always felt a very positive vibe here, even when we disagree, even when the faculty has disagreed with the hiring process or an issue. It's not like we're stonewalled. It's not like we're cut out. It's like employee contribution and opinion is valued here. So, very positive work experience overall, I think.
Kirkwood is not my first employer, and I have actually worked at one company where there was a union. I was a graphic artist for 35 years. And the union was very important because we did have employers who really weren't as concerned about the well-being and the happiness of their employees. And since I've been at Kirkwood, because I'm on staff and we do not have any kind of union, I have never heard anybody saying that I wish I had a union because they're very happy. I think the school, for the most part, as Catherine was saying, they work hard to keep people happy here, and that is shown by how long people have worked.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who have been in Kirkwood for a very long time.
I think the long time, it was 40 years.
Well, Gail was there for 40 years.
Yeah, Gail was
She just
crazy
retired.
long. Right?
40 years, she just retired. So, and if it wasn't for the fact that she just had a grandchild that she wanted to hang out with, she probably would still be here. So that's a definite testament to the fact that this school wants happy employees.
Well, a lot of retired employees come back here.
They do.
They come back to work part-time, often doing what they did or just
Hang out.
Yeah, pretty much. They
Sure.
kind of like it. So
Sure.
you don't do that if you like
Yeah,
it.
sure. If you've been watching the clock for
Exactly.
10 years or
Yeah,
more.
Exactly.
so we've kind of addressed this a little bit, but with recent changes at the state level and upcoming changes at the federal level, both in leadership and proposed budget, what do you see as the biggest challenge or challenges for Kirkwood over the coming months or years? Just the lack of money.
Convincing these administrations that education for everybody is very important, and that education should not be privatized so that only the wealthy can afford it.
Amen, sister. And that's, we're community college, and our mission is to take education to people who can't afford it. We are here for an alternative for the community for what they need. And, you know, convincing the people in the federal and state governments that what we do is a valuable service based on some of the things they say they would like to see about education is vital. You know, we send a group to Des Moines once or twice a year, and we have a continual lobbyist up there to talk about what we do and why we do it. And yet we have Steve Opal, and he's retiring this year, really. He's one of those people who retired and then came back and hung out. And then he's being replaced by, I cannot remember her name, but she's going to be our full-time lobbyist. And then there's one that actually works for the entire community college organization.
What else was shadowed her, right?
Yeah.
No, I was shadowed, she works for Marshalltown.
Oh, okay.
So the folks in the legislature, for reasons that remain somewhat inscrutable, seem to want to defund education, and yet they want Iowa to thrive. I see the disconnect, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's almost like you're fighting an uphill battle. We also, although happily have not seen much discrimination in Kirkwood, you know, that's another issue. As the society becomes less tolerant, we have to make sure that Kirkwood remains a tolerant place. We were really worried about that more in January than we are in March, you know, having seen how things shake out. But that's another mission that we have to keep working on. And Mick did a great job at Christmas, with a letter publicly, you know, evaluating that. And then when the travel ban came out, he did another letter that was really clear about what we value at Kirkwood. Keeping our values intact in a time where some of the things that we believe are less than popular is a challenge.
It's really frightening for a lot of the students that come to our the international students. A lot of them are very concerned and frightened about what's going on in the current environment of the country. They're afraid they're going to all be kicked out. They're afraid that they, you know, if they happen to. We actually have advice on not to even go home to visit because we weren't sure what would happen when they tried to come back. So it's been very tough time for.
And then, of course, you know, our KPACE program, a lot of our students, or a lot of our population that are underserved and underemployed, it's also a very unfriendly time for them. So, you know, again, we just have to keep doing what we do, keep trying to fight for funds to help them make their lives better and realize their dreams where they want to go. And it just feels like it's a constant uphill battle for getting funding to work with our mission. And, you know, again, you just think to yourself, well, this is what education is for, to make your state a better place, to make your lives better. Why are you kicking us around so much? Kind of demoralizing in some ways.
Yeah.
But we keep at it, right?
Yeah, I say thank goodness we're at the college that we are, because we have such good relationships all the way around. Versus like the K-12 world.
Right, and we're all on the same page, you know, in terms of our values, our mission, our ideas. We are all very included in the planning of that, which is another great thing about Kirkwood. You know, it's like I have taught high school. I know it can be very top down. But we're kind of all in this together, and we know what we're about. So regardless of the circumstances the state puts us in or the feds put us in, we still know what we're about and know what's important to Kirkwood, and we can keep striving for that, regardless of budget cuts and attitudinal changes. Let's swing back. We'll be here.
I think for the most part, Kirkwood is very transparent organization. I don't feel like they're having little secret meetings behind closed doors that will affect us all that we're never going to hear about. Because I feel like they're pretty upfront with any kind of decisions that affect people here. They're pretty upfront about what is happening and how things are going to be dealt with.
We may not like what we get to hear in the end, but they are upfront.
But they let us know.
But that's-
And it's usually one of those leadership decisions where you can say, yes, I see how you got from point A to point B to point C.
I mean, that's very consistent with an organization that values its employees
Right.
and desires to create, you know,
Right.
a workplace that is
Right.
one of unity and
Right.
spontaneity and great things.
So, from your point of view in the budget bargaining, just in general process, what do you hope to see in the next president?
Oh,
I
wow.
would need replacement. It's not. Can I clarify that?
Oh, shoot, at the federal level, anybody else is what we expect.
That would be, with my department not that long ago, and my dean made a comment about a new president, and someone was looking at something got super sense, like, he's been impeached already, it's like, no, we're sorry.
It's okay.
Go back to sleep.
Go back to sleep.
Don't wake up until impeachment. We're gonna be meeting about this, actually, we have our general membership meeting, and one of the items on my agenda is, tell us what you want us to tell the person conducting the job search about what you want in the next president. We're going to actually be openly soliciting faculty input in this regard.
And that's something that came from Larry Evers and something you recommended, or yeah.
My understanding is that Larry has always said he was going, you know Larry, obviously. And Larry has always said he was going to do focus groups before he got the hiring committee. So there's supposed to be a focus group of faculty, there's supposed to be a focus group of staff, administrators, students, I think, you know, they're going to try to get a feel for what the college wants. So the college is all over this, right? Certainly we want someone who's going to continue to support Kirkwood studies.
From my point of view, as a person who works in the international office, we have always appreciated the fact that Nick really has championed international education. He has championed students from this country, students from Iowa going to other parts of the world to experience what life and people are in other parts of the world, and also bringing people from other parts of the world to Iowa. And that has been real important for us. And I think it's very important for the Kirkwood community as a whole, because people who don't experience other cultures don't understand what life is really like in a world type of a stage. And we have a lot of students here who've never been out of Iowa. And sometimes meeting somebody from another country is the only exposure they're going to ever probably get to another culture. So we have always appreciated that he really appreciates that, and he's always worked hard to champion that.
Well, it was an actual Kirkwood initiative that the goal would be to have every staff member, every administrator, and every faculty member have an overseas.
Right.
So it's actually part of the package, you know.
And that is something that's just amazing in itself. I don't think there's any other schools probably in the country, who knows, where the school offers staff and faculty scholarships to study abroad, to do service abroad.
I am so excited about that. I will be eligible.
Are you
in
doing
about a year? It's fun.
Oh,
Apply,
yes,
whatever.
sure.
Yeah, I went to Vietnam and helped remodel what we know. I love it. It's really awesome.
I went to Peru and painted murals. I worked with students, I worked with children and with the elderly, and it was the best experience of my life.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. I say that everybody should have to go abroad once, because until you've walked in somebody else's shoes in a different country, don't come here, don't tell us to send.
But, you know,
People
if you can't afford it, come and talk to my students. Come here after, you know, refugee experiences and harrowing experiences. And, you know, live a little word about other people and what they've been through. What else can I say? The new president, you know, same communication. Maybe the administration here isn't always the most deft at communicating, even though they are transparent. Maybe occasionally they're looking at the world from a different place, so they don't understand when you're looking at the world from your place. But they try. They really make an effort to be as communicative as they know how to be. And we want a similar kind of president. We want somebody who thinks of this college more like Microsoft than like IBM. You know, the same level. So people, they don't mind us taking risks, being entrepreneurs, coming up with new ideas, coming up with innovative programs. That's one of the hallmarks of, I think, all Kirkwood administrators up to this point.
I would like to see someone who is forward thinking.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most important things that would help Kirkwood, is to make sure that we have think in the future and not as opposed to the past.
So,
Visionary.
in your opinion, I'm sorry, we're like at time if you need to go.
I'm a little short with there.
Okay.
I got 10 more
It's
minutes
exactly
for you.
3 o'clock.
All right.
I'll do one more question.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
So this is just a very random question, not on the paper. Are we preparing students for jobs that don't exist?
Yeah. We totally are.
Yes.
What we're teaching in many ways is flexible thinking. So my master's is in business and tech training. And one of the things that they constantly emphasized to us when I was studying for this is like, technology you're going to be working on in the future doesn't exist yet. But, you know, be flexible, be open to learning, be ready to communicate in new ways, and you're going to do fine. Obviously, I'm not a tech writer anymore. I'm an ELA teacher. A PhD went a different direction. But the point being, we're teaching our students to think, to be able to follow directions, to be flexible in their thinking. Absolutely. Are we teaching them to be ready? Well, why not?
Yep.
You agree?
Yep.
You're doing over again.
I mean, you know, we are working specifically with high school and college credit, but we are like, you know, because it's kind of our little pond, there are things we can try and emphasize.
Right.
We can attempt to
Right.
work with our adjuncts and instructors to say, look, yes, we want you to obviously teach the content of your course in the way that you want to teach it, and we fully support you, but here's some things that we want to try and introduce into our, you know, HVAC system so that everyone kind of starts to breathe, and those are things that help a lot.
We're a lifelong learning place, right?
Absolutely.
So what we're doing is setting people up to be able to go from being a graphic designer to something else. That's what we do. So yeah, I think we know.
I think we're doing a great job at first. And then our final question is, for those of us in positions that don't work directly with budgets, how would you recommend we increase our exposure and experience?
Become president of KFA. Maybe more exposure than you want. What do you think? Stay informed, I guess. There are town halls. There are opportunities to hear what's being said. Stay active legislatively.
Yeah, I mean, don't close your ears and your eyes to what's happening around you, which I think a lot of people, if they find something unpleasant, choose just not to even pay attention or listen or read or whatever about something. I'm constantly reading things. I try to keep up on everything, whether it's national, local, or just here at Kirkwood. And the best thing that we can teach our students actually is to be that way. Research, study, read. Don't pay attention to what's happening around you because it's very important. Don't just think because it's something unpleasant that turning away from it is going to make you feel better. And it may for a minute, but when the result of that, avoidance or ignoring of an issue comes back to bite you, I'm really sorry.
So that would be national politics.
Yeah.
Actually, and there is the silver lining of what's happening right now politically has a silver lining, and that is sort of and we're paying attention. So there are lots of avenues where we can get the information about our budget, about our college's needs, about our visioning. This college is a very active participatory process in which we contribute to that, and similarly there's a lot of communication that goes out about it. But if we stay informed and keep our ears and eyes open, that's probably the best way, even if you're not making budgetary decisions. Plus, it helps you understand those decisions, even if you really don't like them.
That is important, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, understanding why something happens is probably the best way to share bad news.
Sure.
Good news, too.
Sure.
I mean, absolutely. But, if you don't understand why, it's just like this. It's like God smites you for some reason you can't fathom, and it's not like that. These are decisions made with a lot of thought.
Thank you very much.
I hope you have fun writing your papers.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
I'm glad we don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there was just one other thing. You could just submit.
So,
Short 10-12 page.
when are you guys done with your course?
We have
How does it
one session left.
Yeah.
Okay.
We started in the fall, and we met roughly once a month all the way through. And we have one more left, and then we graduate like.
Not even.
I'm second on the, we'll keep it.
So you graduate late?
Yep.
And then what happens after that?
I think they double our salary or something.
That's
like that.
awesome.
We negotiated, so thank you.
You're welcome. That negotiation
Basically-
by me, but,
Yeah,
awesome.
we come in
Basically
with the radar.
nothing. We just have it to put on our resume. We did this.
And then also got a graduate credit, the PhD through IS for higher education.
So that means you could potentially go on to be some sort of administrator somewhere down the line.
Yep.
That's
Could eventually run for the next job someday.
Maybe he has a desire, but we don't, I don't think.
Maybe someday.
Being a director,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't have,
How about a secretary of education?
I think I'm already qualified.
We could use one.
well, I'm more qualified than the one we have.
We're more qualified than all mine. Right. Take care.
Hey, thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Enjoy the weather.